Hi guys, welcome to Manhood Explained. My name is Camille. Today is 29th of July 2020. Welcome to video number 215. In the last 2 weeks, I think, we had with my wife like two very heated discussions. And I'm consciously not calling that argument because I don't know if you can call it an argument when we don't scream at each other. We raise our voice to make our point. But we basically talk about this thing with respect to each other, finding out the solution to the problem, and 15 minutes later, we're basically enjoying the rest of the evening, like nothing happened. And interestingly enough, because it was very interesting. I think that was the first time that I've seen myself in that situation that way. That this last two times. I don't know, maybe because it happens so rarely, but we were having this discussion, and I'm observing myself, having this, giving my arguments to what happened, how I see that, and trying to find the way out from all of this, and I see myself that I completely cannot get angry. I can see that I've got my point of view, I know my arguments and so on, but I cannot get emotional about it. And this kind of pushed me towards thinking and observing this whole situation, how we end up finishing this all, in each of the situations. And I thought maybe that's a good subject to talk about it, because I kind of, at least in my case, in my situation, I find a way to win every argument. And let me explain. First of all, as I said, it's so interesting to see yourself to not being able to get angry. And it's very crucial because it's so easy to go wild and go really off script when you're basically both getting emotional. It's so obvious when you both, fall for this trap. You're gonna argue and you're gonna make a mayhem. It's gonna be complete destruction. But it's really hard to get to this point of going off-road so much if you cannot get angry. If you constantly, taking this whole thing and put this thing on track, you look for how to see what's the root cause and find the solution to it. And that's fascinating, but because it puts you in a position that you kind of feel in control, not only of yourself, but of the control about what's happening in this whole argument. And one of the things that I want to talk about is kind of to push you towards thinking about the same, or asking yourself the same question as I did. Why would you really get angry? Because that was kind of my question. I really tried to be emotional. I couldn't. Because so many of these things that you argue in your relationship are more annoying, maybe that's a good word, rather than enraging. What can enrage you is her anger or her reaction to some things. But what happened? It's most of the cases like dumb stuff. It's like really unimportant things. So why would I get angry about it? I'm so over it. So ask yourself, if you're having these issues that you're getting so much angry, ask yourself, why would you get so angry? What is the reason that you allow yourself to get emotional about this, 2 cups in a sink or trash can which was not empty? Really? Is that the biggest issue that you have, that you're losing your control of yourself? Because if you look close enough, then you'll start to see that most of these cases are not worthy of your emotions. And then if you'll be able to look at this consciously from the beginning of the situation, you'll start to see, I'm completely over, beyond this, whatever you're going to call it. I'm not going to get a range of this. And then you feel like quite awesome. So that's the first thing that I kind of observed that helps me to make this thing short, to the point, finding solution, finishing the whole problem. But second thing is finding solution. That I don't try to make this whole thing, a 2-hour battle for no apparent reason. You've got a problem, fix the problem. If you got a problem, you need to find the solution, find the root cause, then find the solution, fix the problem. Why would we prolong this whole thing for God knows amount of hours or time when you need to find the root cause, you need to find the solution to the problem? And many times in this situation, you'll see that what she sees, it's not what you see. So many times, fixing the problem is just saying, listen, tell me what enraged you, or I'll tell you what enraged me, what I felt, what happened, and let's try to find a middle ground. That's it. How problematic would it be when you have no emotions to fix problem that, I don't know, maybe she's coming from work, she's hungry, she gets into the kitchen is, completely dirty, you were home 2 hours before, and you basically did nothing, play computer games. What is the problem with finding a solution to that? And there are, few different point of views. Maybe you feel like, let me play when she's not home. This is exactly what I do. And then when she's gonna come home, I'm gonna clean up the kitchen. You're gonna have time. We'll be able to talk. Tell her that this is your idea, and see what that if she'll be still angry, because maybe she'll say, oh, this is a good idea, because I really want to talk to you when I'm coming back from workplace. Or maybe she'll say, no, I really want the kitchen to be clean because I really need to, feed myself. Then you'll say, fine. And then 15 minutes before she'll come, you're just gonna go to the kitchen, clean it up. Done deal. So what is the problem? Why do you argue for hours about this? You see, this is the problem. If you're both gonna get emotional, and if you're not looking for solutions, then you're going off-road. And then you start this whole argument, arguing about those 2 cups in a sink, a kitchen sink, and you end up, destroying your whole relationship, because you start talking about things that happened 3 years ago, that you probably you would forgot, but no, you remember and you kept this whole thing just for a situation like this, to prove that she's wrong. Which is great segue to point number 3. You've got to understand, you have to differentiate or kind of separate the argument about the thing and the person that you're arguing with. Because if you start this whole argument about these 2 cups in a kitchen sink, and then you end up calling yourself names, you're an idiot. Because you're just burning your own house for no apparent reason, just because you're emotional? Are you insane? You see, you've got to understand that if you are able to control emotions, none of this will ever happen. So grow up, mature, see that you were over it. Burning your house down just because of those 2 cups in a kitchen sink is completely waste of everything that you built for so many years. Especially if you're in marriage, you've got kids or something. Be smart. Point number 2: look for solutions. Don't wander around and look for arguments to continue the argument. Just stick to the point, find the root cause, find the solution, finish the whole thing. And point number 3, if you be able to kind of separate the argument with the person that you're with, you're going to end up exactly as I found myself many years ago. I remember when I separated with one of the companies that I was working for. The manager, the lady that she was my boss. Many times she entered our room when we've been there with my friend, and he was her nephew, I believe. And we had this arguments all the time because she was coming. She was very emotional. She was screaming at us because something happened. We were defending ourselves, and then 15 minutes later, I had to go to her and ask her for some business decision. And what she said when we were splitting, when I was just leaving the company, she said something very important that kind of stayed with me for years. She said, I really admire that anytime we argued, 15 minutes later, when you had to come to me to ask for a business decision, you were able to come like nothing happened. And I was able to, to make a decision. You were going back to your room doing your job. And I was just like, wow. And I had to be like 21 or 2. That was fascinating, because the same rule apply in your relationship. If you're able to separate those 2 things, and then you've got your emotions under control, then you are able to look for a solution, then finding solutions to those two cups in a kitchen sink, it'll take you what, 10 minutes, 15 maybe. So then exactly what I do, and that's why our arguments, so-called, or different opinions or heated conversations or discussions, they're completely finished after 15 minutes, because this is exactly what I do. We had difference of opinions, we found the root cause, we found the solution, and then exactly in 2 seconds I'm able to completely switch. Problem was solved, and I'm going back to our relationship. The discussion was about the thing. We fixed that thing. So why would I keep my emotions? Why would I keep, being angry for no apparent reason? I say, hey, so what happened in your workplace? And 2 minutes later, like nothing happened, we just continue with having a great time. And if you would look at it from standing next to us, you would say, this is kind of psycho thing. It's like, how can you do this 180-degree switch in seconds? Because I don't know, I allowed myself to be smart enough to see that there's a huge difference in between having a difference of opinions and the person that I'm in love with. Period. Because you've got to understand, the more you know, Manhood Explained, wink wink, the more you understand about things, you will be able to see both sides of this thing, the positive and negative. And the moment you start argument, you are completely aware that you can take this whole thing and bully your wife towards submission, because you are not emotional, you are very logical, and you are able to pinpoint this whole thing, and you can manipulate, you can do whatever you want, even if you're right, if you don't, you can win every discussion, every argument. But if you understand how this whole thing works, you can basically, from a position of your strength, of your power, of being able to have this thing under control, you're able to make this whole thing short, to the point, find the root cause, find solution, get back and having a great time. And this is what your girl will respect you for. That you don't bully her. You use your strength, you use your wisdom, your maturity to solve the problems and be able to live your life and be happy. So this is what I want you to take from this video. If you want to win every argument in your relationship, so many of you will have to redefine how you define winning. Because if you think that bullying your partner or basically destroying your enemy in this battle is your definition of winning, you're missing the point. The whole idea is to be able to look at it exactly, separating the conversation, the discussion from the person that you're having it with. Solve the problem and get back, have a great life. You know what I'm saying? So that's why think about it and do something about it. Because being able to win every argument, it's easy if you switch your thinking and you turn from seeing it as a competition and turn toward cooperation. If you liked this video, like, share, comment. If you didn't, comment as well. Tell me what you think and what is your point of view on the subject. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, give me a shout. I'll be glad to do it for you. And that being said, see you tomorrow.